Hello everybody, it's Sarah and today I'm here with my Top 5 Wednesday video for this week. Top 5 Wednesday was created by Lainey from Ginger Reads Lainey, and as always I'll leave the link to her channel as well as the Goodreads group in the description. So this week's topic is top 5 books I did not finish. And I refuse to say that I'm a person who does not finish books. I set a lot of books aside, but most of the books that I do set aside I actually like, but I kind of feel like it's not the right moment to read them, and I want to read them or continue reading them at a later point in my life, even if that's a few years late. And so far, most of the books that I have started and then set aside, I did pick up again, so I don't know if you can say that I did not finish them. And the only times when I honestly do not finish books are times when I start a book and then I get sidetracked because I find a book that just interests me more at that moment, so I forget that I'm reading the first book. And then some time later I will open that book and just wonder why I dog-eared a page because I can't remember reading it, or why the spine is broken because I can't remember reading it. So yeah, I also did not consider those books. The books that I am going to show you right now are books that I picked up in the last year, and I have not yet finished. Some of them I didn't continue for 6 months now or something. And yeah, let me show you those books. The first one is The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers by Tolkien. And I started this, I think, in April. I really love the first one. But with this one, for those of you who have not read the books, it's not like the movies where the parts of the Fellowship and the parts with Sam and Frodo just like alternate. But the first half is just the Fellowship and the second half is just Sam and Frodo. And in the movies I did not really like the parts with Sam and Frodo. Most of the time I found them to be a bit boring, and sometimes I'll even fast forward them when I watch the movies now. So I'm kinda about continuing with the book, because even the first half, which like is the parts that I really liked in the movie, like the Battle for Helm's Deep, I did not enjoy overly, not as much as the first book, so... But I still want to finish this book, and I want to finish this series because it's just something that I have to do as a fantasy reader. The second book I have is The Lies of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch, which is the first book in the Gentleman's Bastard series, I think it's called. I'm on page 133 and I started this 3 times already, but every time I started it was after I read a book I really loved, and of course I was in a reading slump after reading a book I really loved. And so I just never continued past the point I am right now, but I still really want to finish this book, at least the first one, because I've heard so many great things about this series. Next I have The Pages by Murray Bale, and I'm on page 35. It's actually just a 200-page book, it's really thin. But for some reason I didn't continue. I only started this last month, I think after I finished The Martian. And between me and this book came The Shadows of Self. So I have to restart this, but it's only a short while since I set it down, so I'm probably going to continue with this book soon. My fourth book on the list is Outlander by Diana Gabaldon, and I'm on page 295, and Well, I heard so many great things about it on BookTube, so I thought I'd give it a try because I really like historical fiction, and I did watch the series and I quite liked it, quite enjoyed it, and I think my problem was that I watched the series before I read the book, because then I was kind of slow in getting into this book. But the good thing, because I watched the series, is I don't have to restart the book again, because I can mostly still remember what happened and I can just continue whenever I want. So the last one is kinda cheating, because it's not a book that I want to read like in one go. But I didn't have a number 5, so you have to make do with this. And that's The World of Ice and Fire by George R.R. Martin. And it's basically a history book about Westeros and the Free Cities and so on. It's beautifully illustrated, and the reason why I did not continue with this is because just every once in a while, when I feel like it, I'll just read one chapter, because it's a little bit much, because you have all the Targaryen kings and it's really confusing at times. But I really enjoy it. Like I said, it's beautifully illustrated. I would really recommend this book to anyone who loves the A Song of Ice and Fire series by George R.R. Martin. So maybe just to show you that I do mean it if I say I only set books aside, some books that I didn't originally read, that I just finished at a late point, long after I first started them. One of them is The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown. Then there's Charles Dickens' Oliver Twist, The Host by Stephanie Meyer, His Dark Materials by Philip Pullman, The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss, Bridge of Dreams by Anne Bishop, Sophie's World by Jostein Gaarder, and Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie. So you can see most of those books I now love, and those are all books that I had to restart because I set them aside at one point. And with that said, this is the end of the video. Tell me if you're a person who does not finish books, or if you're a person like me who just sets them aside for a certain amount of time. Tell me your books you did not finish, and I hope you enjoyed it. Kiss kiss!